everybody. This is my first live. Not sure. I guess I am connected now. If you could just let me know that you see me and you hear me, I would appreciate it. So this is a new thing for me. Hey, Billy. Hello. I guess you're seeing me, which is great. Hey, how are you? Hey, Robert. Hey, Bob. How are you, Bob? So I want to talk about the benefits of the yoga that I practice and that I teach. I'm glad you're saying, hey, Billy, I know you wrote me today, and I definitely want to respond to that. And I appreciate it, and appreciate your confidence in me, and all that. I really do. So thank you so much, Billy. I really, really appreciate it. Bob, you're doing okay? So specifically, I wanted to talk about today the benefits of restorative, mostly restorative yoga. I mean, if you guys have any questions about yin yoga, I'd be happy to answer them. But I want to talk about the benefits of restorative yoga specifically and what it has done for me in my life. I've spoken about this briefly in some podcasts that I've done. Thank you, Bob. Thank you, Bob. I appreciate it. So as far as restorative yoga goes, I started my yoga path about 16 years ago. I am almost 56. So probably even a little more than 16 years ago. And of course, I was a lot younger, and for me, it was a lot of, I took to it very quickly. I was able to make that connection to the mat and with the poses or asanas, and I started out with Hatha Yoga, and then it evolved, and I practiced Hot Yoga, Vinyasa Flow, all different types of yoga. But I found that as I got older, things changed in my mentality and how I thought about things. And as I got healthier and made a connection with the nervous system and how a lot of people are walking around in that fight or flight all day, I figured that I made that connection that it was the same thing for me. I was constantly in that state of doing, always. Like I felt like I always had to do. And that was true even with my yoga. I felt that, even when I was doing the poses in yoga, standing on the mat, holding a pose, holding a warrior pose or anything else, I was looking around and making sure that I was holding it as long as somebody else, or was I sweating as much as that other person? Hey everybody, this is my first time going live, and I just very passionate on spreading the awareness about restorative yoga specifically today. If you have any questions about yin, I'm more than happy to answer them. But restorative absolutely did change my life in the beginning. You're welcome, Bob. And so when I made that connection with how I was always on that fight or flight, which most of us are, we're walking around and we always feel like we have to do, or we always have to have something in our ears, music, whether it be music or, TikTok, or being on your phone or computer, or exercise, even exercise. Like that is very young in nature. Just moving the body and working your muscles, which is fine. It's wonderful and it's really good for the body. But it's equally important to bring down the nervous system in order to, and I talk about this when I teach, As a registered nurse, I'm a registered nurse, and as a nurse, we are taught that the way the body heals, like if you're in a hospital, the reason they give you medication to kind of slow everything down is for the body to heal. And the only way the body and the mind is going to heal is if you bring that nervous system down. So even when we're practicing the yang style yoga, which is great, there's nothing wrong with that, your nervous system is up. It's up, up, up. So we want to bring the nervous system down into a state of the parasympathetic nervous system. And when I teach restorative yoga, the elements are warm, quiet, dark, still, and safe. And in those elements, your nervous system will come down. So when your nervous system is down, there's nowhere else to go. You know, people that are very type A people, which I am, I still am that way. But when I got certified in restorative yoga, when I went to go get my certification a little over 5 years ago, because I'm always trying to do different things, you know, always trying to learn, I literally was in the pose, and we stay in restorative yoga, you stay in that pose for usually 10 minutes, sometimes more. I literally was in the pose and thinking, oh my God, I don't care if I lose my money for this course. I don't want to come back to this tomorrow. What are we doing? We're just laying here. We're doing nothing. I have other important things to do. This was all going through my mind. And come to realize is that's exactly why I needed this practice, the restorative yoga, because we are constantly thinking about the next thing to do. And in restorative yoga, we're trying to bring that body system down in that hour, an hour and 15 minutes, or however long the class is. And it's an accumulative thing. You know, the more you do it, the more you get it, the more you're able to get the benefits from it, just like anything else. You can also use the class as an meditation. That's really great, Bob. Definitely. That's really, really good. So this way, Bob, when you do your walk, then you're doing a form of meditation also. And it's also really great to do your walks in nature without your earbuds, you know, and just like you said, you're listening to the sounds of nature and really being introspective and noticing all the things around you rather than having earbuds in and listening to a podcast or chatter in your ears. And you get it. Yeah, definitely that's a really beneficial thing to do. So when I teach restorative yoga, and if anybody's interested in practicing, I did put on my YouTube channel, I think I put 4 classes on there of restorative yoga and 2 classes of yin. So you can kind of get an idea of the type of yoga I teach. So they're not moving practices. They're, well, actually we move a little bit in yin, but I'm going to focus on restorative for this talk. The restorative yoga, I usually do 4 to 5 poses. They're all done on the floor. And for the case of the YouTube channel, and I only hold them for 7 minutes. But normally, if you were in a class with me personally, I would hold them for at least 10 minutes, around there. And when you do this, you go so deep inside, you make that connection to what the body is feeling and your breath, that connection to the breath, which is really important. You know, we tend to walk around just breathing just very shallow from the top of our chest. So I try to make you more aware of the sensations of your body, what your body is feeling. We disconnect from our bodies a lot A lot of us do that. We don't make a connection to what our body is truly feeling. And we don't think about our breath. So during the practice, that's what I focus on. So I don't really play music. Again, the room is dark, because we want to bring the nervous system down. And in a darker environment, the nervous system will come down because you're not stimulated from the light. We are still. Once we get into our pose and we are completely comfortable, we get still in that pose. And we are warm, because if we're cool, that will stimulate the nervous system more. So we try to be, we are warm. We try to get warm. So we have blankets and all of that. And it's quiet and safe. We want to be in a safe environment. If you don't feel safe in your environment, that is going to stimulate the nervous system also. So just think of the practice is all about bringing down that nervous system so you feel safe, This can help. I can't tell you how much it's helped my anxiety, and like I said, it's a cumulative thing. So it's just like anything else. You're not going to feel something the first time. The more you do it, the better it is. When you get off the mat, then you're going to feel the benefits even as you get off the mat, and you might not even realize it. When you get off the mat, you will be able to make better decisions. You'll be more conscious. In everyday life, you'll be able to make better decisions as far as even food choices, who you're going to be hanging around with, making better choices before you say something that may be hurtful to somebody else. These are all things that came from my practice of restorative yoga. So I've been really doing restorative yoga, or practicing for maybe about 6 years. So I've had, if anybody knows my story, I've had severe trauma, PTSD, anxiety, all of that in my life. So along with the good energy food and practicing yang type movements, working out in the gym, using my muscles, good quality water, good quality sleep, having a good support system, having community, the yoga falls right into that. Falls right into that picture of total health and wellness in mind, body, and heart. So if anybody has any questions specifically about restorative yoga, I would love to answer them. I know it just says one person is on here, but if that is just you, Bob, that's enough for me. I'm a little bit nervous, as you guys can tell. I've never done a Instagram live, but I think it's a really good tool to use and to get my message across. So if anybody is interested in learning or getting private sessions with me, I offer that. If you go to my profile and then go to my website, you will see all the information. You can get in touch with me via email. You can text me and get in touch with me, and we could set up something. As far as right now with COVID, we could do a Zoom session, and you can actually have a personal session with me. So anything else about restorative yoga? So restorative yoga, again, is all about bringing the nervous system down. It is the art of doing nothing, quote unquote. And like I said, for a lot of people, it may seem like, why would I do that? Why would I go to a class and do nothing? And thank you, Bob. You would do that because we are always constantly doing something. So we want to do nothing. We want to give ourselves the gift of doing absolutely nothing and being introspective and having that connection to the body and the breath, for an hour and 15 minutes. How often do you really truly take that time out and do the art of doing nothing? Even I would go as far to say, even in sleep, a lot of us will wake up and will feel like, oh, I got the crappiest night's sleep, you know? So when I teach a restorative class, it's so relaxing. I've had people just be in total bliss, are able to sleep so soundly after a restorative class. The Shavasana, the final resting pose, I do for 20 minutes, which is pretty unheard of in any type of yoga. But I do that because I've also been taught by Judith Hanson Lassiter, who is basically the queen of restorative yoga. And she says that a 20-minute Shavasana, if everybody took a 20-minute Shavasana, the world would be a whole different place. And I believe that because it takes 15 minutes for the quote-unquote monkey mind to kind of settle down. So then once that settles down, you are in Shavasana is like pure bliss. Okay? So I give a 20-minute Shavasana, which I'd say most of the people end up coming out of that Shavasana and they can't believe that it's been 20 minutes because they get so deep into that bliss that they just want to keep going on and on. So it is a really, truly beautiful practice. Also, during the practice, you want to make sure that you are totally comfortable. It's not even how you look in the pose. It's a matter of getting yourself so comfortable that you could just breathe into that pose, that you're not fidgeting, that you are not feeling like, oh, something feels uncomfortable. Like if I walked up over to you and I said, how are you feeling in this pose? And you said, oh, I feel okay. I'd say, no, it's not okay to feel okay. You want to feel more than okay in that pose, okay? You want to, that's why restorative, it's always nice to accumulate as many props as you can because the whole practice is relying on the earth and the props. So you want to kind of invest in getting yourself some props in order to make yourself feel totally at comfortable and feel like you could just totally let go into that pose. I like to also talk about each pose being able to release the outer layer of an onion, like peeling away the layers of an onion. A lot of people get very emotional in restorative yoga, and that is beautiful because if you've ever heard of the phrase, the issue is in the tissues, a lot of us are able to, being in the state of restoring and surrendering, are able to release some of that baggage, that emotional baggage, and it could be physical also. And I've had a lot of people release a lot of tears, which is very healthy and it's perfectly normal. And as we progress with the practice, I remind everybody, just can you release another layer of that onion? Can you release some of that tension from your body? I remind them to come back to their breath, come back to the sensations of your body. And sometimes I do it a lot because from minute to minute, we end up constricting our bodies and we don't even realize it. Hi Melissa, how are you? And so those are the reminders that I do. Once you get familiar with my style of teaching, I don't really talk a lot because that is interrupting your introspection also. The quiet. So once I get you into the pose, I usually shut up. I might come back and just remind you to come back to the sensations in your body and your breath and notice if you're holding on to any tension in your jaw, especially. A lot of us do that, in your face, your tongue. And I would just not advise, but I would ask you all to go to my YouTube channel. Like I said, I have some practices on there. They are not the best quality. I will give you the heads up here. I taped them in the beginning of COVID when I was not familiar with Zoom at all, but found out later that I can upload them to YouTube. So I actually did that. and you can get an idea of how I teach. And if you guys are interested, I would love to do maybe, you know, a live restorative yoga class on a live format and offer that to you all. If that's something you might be interested, I think I can maybe do that on a YouTube live. I'm not sure, but I would love to do that. I would love to offer that. And yes, it's always good to center yourself. But a lot of us don't do that, Bob. A lot of us don't do that. A lot of us go through our day, like I said, in a constant state of fight or flight. And not to bring you guys down, but it'll eventually catch up to you in some way, mental or physical. We cannot always be under that state of fight or flight. I don't know if that makes sense, but I hope it does. So that is, there's probably a lot more I could talk about. As you can see, I will get used to this, I guess. Again, this is my first Instagram live, and wanted to connect with the Instagram people. And Melissa, if you're here, I'm glad you just popped in. And what I may do is I may just go over to TikTok live and do a live over there. And thank you for whoever joined, and I really appreciate it. If you have any questions, just pop them in the comments. I don't know if I can come back to this later. I'm not sure. I don't know how this works. I think it records and then I'm able to come back to it later. I'm not really sure. But if anybody has any questions, please don't hesitate to ask. You can also go to my website, which is on my profile, and my Google phone number is there. Also my Gmail, and any questions you can always ask me. I'm very good about getting back to people. I love you all, and have a wonderful and blessed day. Take care.